Good night, Papua New Guinea, and welcome back to another edition of Sports In. I'm your host, and it's a pleasure to have you join me on the show tonight. I hope you had a wonderful Easter celebration over the weekend. Well, as for me, I enjoyed the Easter weekend with my family, and most of my time was celebrated at the sporting fields, covering sporting activities over the weekend. Well, we will get straight into it. Coming up on the show tonight, we have our special guest, one of PNG's most decorated female athletes, as well as a representatives from the PNG Olympic Committee and Trukai Industries. Well, before we get straight into it, let's look at our scorelines on the weekend. Well, let's start with NRL. Round 6 results, Melbourne Storms 28. Oh, Melbourne Storms. You know, every time when I call that name, I always have goosebumps because that is my team. Well, Melbourne Storms 38 defeated Sydney Roosters 8. Rabbitohs 50 defeated Bulldogs on 16 points. Oh, that was a massive scoreline. Well, we have a nail-biting match between the Dolphins 32 defeating North Queensland Cowboys on 30 points. This was another big dust again. The Penrith Panthers 44 defeating Sea Eagles 12, and this was the upset of the round. The Canberra Raiders 20 defeating Brisbane Broncos 14. Titans 20 points defeating Dragons 18. The Newcastle Knights 34 defeating the New Zealand Warriors on 24 points. This is another upset again. And the Parramatta Eels 28 defeating the West Tigers on 22 points. Results for Super Rugby Round 7. Crusaders 38 defeated Mohana Pacifica 21 points. Brumbies 52 defeating the Queensland Reds on 24 points. The Hurricanes 29 defeating Highlanders 14. And the Auckland Blues 54 defeating the Melbourne Rebels 17. And to the New Power Sports Talk Sevens results, Biala Suarez defeated Gero Natives 12 points to 7 to win the Cup. Lihir Chiefs 9 defeated Port Moresby Harlequins 0 to win the plate. And Harrob Black Orchids 12 defeated West New Britain Patuki Warriors on 5 points to win the Bowl Finals. In the National South Basketball League East Cup tournament results in the men's division, Usano Suarez 50 defeated EMK City Rangers on 45 points to bag the title. And in the women's division, Giru Agen Souths 38 defeated Kutubu Lakers 35 points to bag the women's title. For the Port Moresby Softball East Moneyball Tournament, saw the Lae Marlins running out winners, defeating Gassel 8 points to 1. Well, viewers, that was our weekend scoreline for the week. Anyway, we will take a short break and we will come back with more on Sports In. Welcome back, viewers, on Sports In. Now we have on the show tonight one of our most decorated athletes who represented Papua New Guinea in Rugby Union, Rugby League and Rugby Touch. We have on the show tonight is none other than Miss Gemma Schnaubelt. Gemma, welcome on the show tonight, and it's a pleasure to have your company.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, we go straight into it. Gemma, we understand you led a team of Queensland-based rugby touch players at the recent touch championship in Popondetta. How was the experience like?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think it was the first time a lot of the kids, because of our team, had a lot of young kids coming back. I think at the last Nationals they were probably about 10 to 11 years old, so they were all watching on the sidelines. So for them to be able to take the field this time, it was amazing. And the people of Popondetta were just so lovely and welcoming to us. So yeah, we had a really good time. But yeah, it was one of the best experiences I've ever experienced.
All right, just give us a background details of the Queensland-based team that you led up to attend the championship in Popondetta.
Yeah, so the Queensland Pyre Touch Football Club was created by Christy Delacruz and a lot of the other committees. A lot of the kids actually play for Queensland Pyre So basically they made a club to give the young kids of Australia, around Australia, not just Brisbane, have an opportunity to represent Papua New Guinea in Australia. And then obviously they've connected to Touch Football PNG here for us to come over and play in the championships over here. So it's really good for us to come back home and I guess showcase all the kids that were like born here, grew up here as well, then went back, and then we get to come back home and play on home soil.
Talking about that, what was the talent like displayed on your own personal view? What do you think about the talent displayed in the championship?
Yeah, it was from the last time we came here. For myself, in my opinion, it's grown a lot, especially in the men's and open mixed divisions, and the women's as well. You know, a lot of the touch has developed over the couple of years that we haven't been able to see over here. So, yeah, it was really good to play some games, and I guess harder games, you would say, against a lot of the other provinces. So, yeah, it was quite a tough day, especially being in the heat as well. So, no, it was fantastic to see how much the code has grown over here, and we can only hope it keeps developing over the next coming years.
Are you also passionate about representing PNG to the upcoming Pacific Games in Solomon Islands?
Yeah, definitely. I think for Pacific Games, I know touch football, I'm actually not eligible due to not holding a PNG passport. So, you know, there's always rugby sevens and hopefully rugby league, the nines that I can put my name forward for, have that opportunity, and then hopefully most of us will be eligible if chosen to represent at the World Cup. So that'll be next year in England. I don't know the dates yet, but fingers crossed some of us can get into that squad.
Okay, why don't you share to us about your experience as a representative player representing PNG in rugby union and also rugby league? What's the feeling like?
Yeah, I love it. You know, for me, it's just having to put on a jersey of the country where I was born and where both my parents are from as well. So being able to, especially in rugby sevens, travel the world with my PNG Palai sisters was amazing. That was one of the best experiences I've ever experienced as well, getting to travel around the world with the girls and represent our country and the people over here, and that's the same as rugby league. You know, for my short time representing the PNG Orchids, it was awesome to be at home playing in front of a crowd. We don't really get to play many games back here, so to be able to do that, especially back in 2019, was fantastic.
Speaking of sports and its development in the country, what do you want to see improve in terms of developing sports in the country?
I guess for me, I would say just wanting to see the junior development happen here, and I think that's where it all starts. Is the younger you are, and the more that we get to develop the young talent coming up. You know, once, like Australia, once they're into that 16, 17 age, you know, most of them get to be in development squads in rep teams such as the NRL and stuff. So it'd be awesome to see in all codes of sporting over here in Papua New Guinea just more development at that grassroots level. So by the time they're hitting, you know, that 18-year-old mark, most of them are ready to put their, I guess, foot forward to represent our country.
Well, just before we wrap things up, Gemma, what would be the best advice you would want to give to the younger women out there who are aspiring to represent their country in the future?
Just keep working hard for your goals. You know, nothing's ever given on a plate to you. For me, you know, I know a lot of girls that I've played with over here in PNG that got to represent their country. The stories I've heard are amazing. The hard work never stops for them, and that's all I can say is just keep working hard at your goals, and one day you'll be given that opportunity, and when it does, take it all and soak that experience up. Well,
I guess that's about it, unless if you want to say anything further, then you can also add to that.
That's all right.
Well, viewers, there you have it. One of our most colorful and decorated athletes of Papua New Guinea, Miss Gemma Schnaubelt. Gemma, it was a pleasure having you on the show, and on behalf of me and the rest of the crew, we wish you nothing but the best in your career going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, we'll take a short break and we'll return with more on Sports Scene. Welcome back, viewers, on Sports Scene. Joining me tonight is our special guest, Denzil Agi, who is the corporate manager of PNG Olympic Committee and Schubert Maketu, who is the branch manager of Trukai Industries Limited. It's a pleasure to have you both on the show tonight.
Thanks for having us, David.
Well, both gentlemen will be giving us a rundown and an insight on the upcoming activities for the Trukai Fun Run, which is happening this year, as well as their support towards Team PNG for the upcoming Youth Commonwealth Games and the Pacific Games in Solomon Islands. So we'll start with Schubert. Give us an update on how things are progressing in terms of fundraising activities towards the fun run.
Sure. Well, as everyone probably knows, the Trukai Fun Run is the PNG Olympic Committee's major fundraising event for the year. Trukai Limited, Trukai Industries is the naming rights sponsors for this event, has been for the last 23 years now. So at the moment, we've been working closely with Denzil and his team. We're currently planning towards the fun run, the Trukai Fun Run, which will happen in August. But before that, in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we have the auctions that are coming up. And this is the big event where we go out and we invite corporates as well as individuals around the country to come and purchase tables. The money that's raised during those auctions then goes towards supporting the PNG OC. So at the moment we're in planning stages. We've got the first auction planned for Port Moresby to be held at the APEC House later on this month on the 28th of April. Followed by an auction event in Lae, which will be on the 5th of May.
All right, talking about the auction, we know that we have been hit hard by the global pandemic in previous years. How is the auction after the progress of the auction has been like straight after the global pandemic?
Yeah, so we're excited for this one because, as you've pointed out, it's the first one since COVID hit. We haven't been able to do this in previous years because of the threat of COVID and the threat to our safety and health. So this one is expected to be a big one. We're hoping, we're calling out to corporate houses as well as individuals to get involved and support, because as you know, towards the end of the year, we're planning for the Solomon Islands Pacific Games, which will be in Honiara. So this is when we need the community to rally around us, support us, and Team PNG when they eventually get to go down to Honiara. Let's be serious. We go there to bring home the gold. We're not there to just go and be tourists there. So we encourage everyone, please get involved in the auctions, throw us your support,